sisters and brothers in the Lord. My name is Nellie, and together with my colleague, Kimberly Wee, she's not here today, attending a course outside. We are full-time church counselors with the SJC. SJC stands for St. Joseph's Cathedral Counselling Centre, operating under St. Joseph's Cathedral Parish, Kuching. We have been organizing mental health-related talks every month since the month of May this year. But this morning's talk will be a little bit different. Today is more of a psycho-education program on the big C, cancer. I understand we have a few participants flying in all the way from Bintulu and also KL. We warmly welcome all of you, and also those from Kuching as well, and throughout the Archdiocese. And I believe we have a few people also from other churches. So we welcome you to this talk entitled Father Larry's Testimony, Dancing with Fourth Stage Prostate Cancer. Our speaker this morning is none other than the very notorious Jesuit priest, Father Larry Tan, who's on stage. He's from Chau Kit, KL. He likes to introduce himself as Father Larry, Jangan Lari. The Catholics here will know. Father Larry will turn 73 years young this coming August. He has a lay vocation and was ordained a priest in 1991. Before he became a priest, he was actually in the casino business. We used to jog from gambler to Catholic priest. I am very privileged to have Father Larry as my colleague since he was posted here to Kuching from KL in the year 2012. And he is the assistant rector of St. Joseph's Cathedral, assisting our Archbishop to run the Cathedral Parish. Father Larry is by far one of the most hardworking, optimistic, and disciplined person I've ever knew. I am not exaggerating. I think some of you who know him personally, you will know. He walks the talk, and he upholds the principle of having a growth mindset. I will let him share more about himself later. So without much ado, I invite Father Larry to lead us in a short prayer and begin his session. Let us give him a round of applause.
Now, let us begin with a opening prayer. Let us have moments of silence for a while. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Loving Father, we thank you for the gift of this beautiful day today, for the gift of life. Life is precious and special gift to us. So we thank you, Lord, for this morning's event, bringing together many people who are interested to know more about cancer and how it affects our lives. And use me, O God, as an instrument to inspire those people, to give hope to those, particularly those who are suffering from cancer or would be suffering from cancer in the future. So we commit this event into your hands, and we ask for your blessings upon all of us in the name of Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Okay, good morning, everyone. It's very unlikely to see me sitting here because I'm the one that do not like to be stationary. If you see me speaking in public, you'll see me walking around. So I'm here sitting because of something of my foot, my polio leg is giving me the problems, so I'm unable to walk properly. So here, that's why I'm sitting here. Okay, thank you very much for your presence here, but let you know one thing. I am not the star of the show here. The star of the show is God himself. Okay? I'm not the star of the show. God himself is the star of the show, and does his instrument bringing along message of hope and so forth to those who are keen to know more about cancer. And so I'm very humbled to see so many of you here. And just a disclaimer. Remember, this is a disclaimer. I'm not an expert on cancer. I've read a lot, and also on cancer, and also on nutrition and so forth. And I'm not an expert in all these, but I am quite knowledgeable in all these things. So do not take what I say as gospel truth. Do your own research. Okay? All right, let us begin. So I'm also following using my handphone here to see what the screen is being projected. Okay, the first slide you see, dancing my cancer away. I love the word dancing. And for many reasons, but I will not go into it so as not to waste time on that. Okay, now the question comes to mind, how come I have cancer? Strange, I used to ask myself. Spiritually, I am well connected. Perhaps maybe I'm a bit shy to bare my soul. I used to pray or meditate about 2 to 3 hours a day. Lunchtime, I used to tell the office staff, I'm going to speak to my boss. My boss means the man upstairs. And of course, also, when I was appointed as exorcist, I started really fasting every week, 72 hours fast a week. That means 3 days, just on water. So spiritually speaking, I'm well connected. And also mentally and emotionally well integrated. And those office staff have known me, perhaps maybe Nellie and also Brenda and so forth. You never see me bursting in anger and so forth. Perhaps maybe I know how to control my emotions. So I'm very well integrated in the sense there. And, okay. And then physically, every morning, mostly every week, I make sure that I have enough time for a walk. So walking is part of my, exercise that I do. And then nutritionally, I am very careful with my diet. So I just don't simply eat. Particularly, I am very careful with sugar. So I make sure I just take sufficient sugar and no more. Even rice also, I take very little rice carbo. And then, of course, stress management. I thought I was coping very well. Why? Because I meditate 2-3 hours a day. Wow, I thought this is very well. I know how to handle my stress. I seem to do everything right, yet I get cancer. Big question mark. Even my own fellow Jews say, wow, if Father Larry gets cancer, what about us? I seem to do everything right, but still get cancer. Okay, now begins my dance with cancer to speak. You see that what will be, will be. So in January 2020, I usually go back to KL for my Chinese New Year break. So I took my annual blood test, and my blood test PSA was 4.59, which is borderline. Nothing really wrong with it, borderline. But my doctor quickly referred me to my urologist in the Normal Hospital. So I followed up, and then nothing really serious about that. My prostate was not really enlarged. Seemingly everything is okay. But then came along COVID-19. On one hand, what do you call those? MCO. MCO one was a blessing in disguise for me because, wow, so good, it was a savior. Now I can slow down, and de-stress. But then on the other hand, because I was so scared of going out because of COVID-19, then not go out and so on and so forth, then my PSA, or what they call prostate specific antigen, kept rising and rising until it went up to 12.82. 12.82. And then this was getting a bit jittery. My doctors get a bit jittery. Okay, I have to do a biopsy. And then the biopsy came out. The result confirmed that I have intermediate stage prostate cancer. Obviously, the doctor was reluctant to let me know the results, but somehow through my own connection, I got the full results a day after. So, as I said, I could have nipped in the bud early, if not because of COVID-19. And that evening, when I got the results, I came back, as usual, business as usual, going back to the office to do my work. And the evening, the Jesuits have their own meeting. And after that, I slept very soundly. Business as usual, it is nothing happens to me. The only difference is because I have what we call frequent night urination, so waking up to sleep. But all the while, as if nothing really has happened to me, because I will believe what will be, will be. When I was just a little girl, and that is the tune. What will be, will be. So I was not really concerned and worried about it. As I said very soundly. And then, of course, in March 2021, further tests in Kuching. And then the doctor said, you have to go to KL for this PSMA PET scan, which is not available in Kuching. So I went down to KL to do 2 more tests, CT test, MRI pelvis, prostate gland, and PSMA PET scan in KL. And it was a really good thing I went back to KL. So just now, I was introduced for the Larry. I Larry to KL for 1 year, and then Larry back here in August this year. So, and then I confirmed I have stage 4 prostate cancer. Gleason score 4+3. So the doctor say, I've got bad news for you. The bad news is your prostate cancer has spread. So that's a bad news. So stage 4. The good news is it's localized in your pelvic area. So it has not spread to the body, the bones yet. It's localized in the pelvic area. So that was the stage confirming that I have stage 4 prostate cancer. And then, of course, now the question is, where do I begin? Now, conventional therapy or alternative therapy. So the first lifeline was thrown to me, and because I have a very good contact with my former parishioners who are doctors and so forth and so forth, 2 of them managed to come together, immediately get everything ready for me, even my appointments with one hospital in PJ and the appointment in the hospital in University of Malaya. Everything all arranged by them, UMMC. So I did not worry about that. And then, of course, I was given, the doctor says, no need surgery, only hormonal jab, and then followed by 37 sessions of radiotherapy to begin around October. So this was in April, started the hormonal jab, they call ADT, or Leucorin jab, once in 3 months. One doctor say it's a lifetime, one say long term. You know, the funny part is when I saw Dr. Robert Koh in Kuching here, Father Robert Koh says, or rather, Dr. Robert Koh said, Father, you're going to be chemically castrated. Chemically castrated. Anyway, I'm not using that anyway. became frustrated. And then when I went to the hospital in Kiev, this lady, specialist in prostate cancer oncologist, says, Father, the PS, or rather the hormonal jab, will make a woman out of you. So with my brother there, we just laugh. What is it? We go make a woman out of me. So we just laugh at it. So that is part. And then I put there, I declined radiotherapy simulation in September because after 2 jabs, I'm supposed to go for the radiotherapy simulation, followed by the what they call radiotherapy sessions in October, 37 sessions. I declined both of them. And then I took the 3rd and last hormonal jab in October 2021. So that was my 3rd and the last one. So no more what they call those conventional toxic intervention for me. So I declined all that. Now we go to alternative therapy. First consultation, 3 days after my hormonal jab, my nutritionist friend, my former church SFX, and also introduced me to his friend, who's also a nutritionist GP. It's quite rare nowadays to see a general practitioner who's also a nutritionist. And the first consultation, and then she asked me, open your mouth, to look at my tongue first. Then they say, I have candida. And then also, looking at my dental amalgam, she pointed out, Father, this is the cause of your cancer. Wow, she was, at that time I didn't realize, but she was really spot on later on. But at that time, wow, I said she knew what are my reasons, the cause for it. And then, of course, I had what they call a heavy metal test done. So to determine my own heavy metal toxins. And 1 month later, I got my results. Wow, it was really shocking to see my heavy metal test results. And then, of course, I have my dental amalgam removed because in all those days, they used mercury for the dental fillings. And then after that, I have what they call intravenous chelation therapy, what they call heavy metal detox, and intravenous vitamin C. These will come together. Why chelation? Because I need to remove all those heavy metal toxins in my body. In other words, my body is really full of poison. Really, really. I will show you the graph afterward. I was really shocked when I look at what is inside my body. And then, of course, I took later the IV intravenous amygdalin, vitamin B17, which is really an excellent form of alternative therapy for me. And then I took the RGCC Research Genetic Cancer Centre. The headquarters is in Switzerland, where they really analyze my cancer cells all over my body. Are you aware that we have cancer cells all in our bodies? Yes. Whether you know or you don't know, we have cancer cells in our body. So they took a really blood test. It came back to me, and I have a look at the results. So that is as far as alternative therapy is concerned. One was a conventional, those conventional like surgery, chemo, and radiotherapy. By the way, hormonal jab is a form of chemotherapy. I didn't realize it until my nutritionist GP told me, Father, your hormonal jab is a form of chemotherapy. Okay. Now, what drives my prostate cancer? That's what I'll talk about. And of course, conventional doctor analyzed me something differently. But what drives my cancer, as I said, is heavy metals. So you have a look at heavy metals there. have arsenic, you have a number of that. But the most important one is for me is mercury, lead, cadmium, and so forth. 5 main one. So this is the heavy metal toxins which need to be flushed out from my system. Now, mercury, look at mercury here. So what are the causes of mercury? You probably see that. You have cosmetic, medications, fish, pesticides, cars, vaccines, dental fillings. Mercury. So for those of you who are my generation, if in those days they used mercury for your dental amalgams, know that you have mercury poison in your body. And of course, fish and mercury, that is the food chain, then you realize fish really has mercury. And my most favorite one is salmon. I love salmon for many years. Whenever I go back to KL, my friends say, Father, we'll take you to the Japanese restaurant. Wow, I really love salmon. 2 things, salmon and oyster. The rest I don't take. Same thing here in Kuching. I saw that, wow, you take me, Father, what do I take Japanese restaurant? Salmon. Until I watched a video clip on farm salmon, no more salmon for me. If you really go internet search on farm salmon, you never want to take it again. Okay? So this is for the, oh, sorry. Okay. Okay. Then after this mercury, you look at my heavy metal toxins results. Look at it. You see it? My heavy metal toxins, huh? Yes. Can you see my mercury and lead? Nearly 100%. Wow. Very good. My report card, 100 upon 100 nearly. Mercury and lead. And mercury is the most poisonous of the toxins. And then of the 6 heavy metal, only 1 is outside the red zone. All of them are in the red zone. I was really shocked. But my nutritionist GP said, Father, I'm used to seeing all this. There's nothing shocking to me. So recently a friend of mine, 50 plus, young lady, seemingly healthy and so forth, she was cajoled into going for a heavy metal test. Wow. She got the results, especially mercury and lead, exactly the same as mine, almost the same as mine. Just imagine that a young lady, 50 plus, seemingly healthy, have heavy metal toxins. So heavy metal toxins is nothing very, it's very common, so to speak. So for those of you who are sick, especially cancer, consider yourself going for a heavy metal test. You really. So this is the root cause of my cancer, or one of the main one. Okay, and now you look at the other one is what drives my cancer? Stress. Not just stress, chronic stress. And I must admit here, working in St. Joseph as a vice director is very, very stressful. As I said, I thought I coped my stress very well, but no. MCO1 was my savior. So stress really the one that drives my prostate cancer. Therefore, you have heavy metal toxins and stress. And then just look at, when we talk about stress, we normally talk about the mind-body stress, mental, physical. But at a cellular level, we have what we call oxidative stress and inflammatory stress. And you look carefully at that, on the oxidative stress, that's where we get hypertension, heart disease, Alzheimer, macular, osteoarthritis, stroke, obesity, diabetes type 2, and that is suffering from oxidative stress or rusting. Another one is inflammatory stress or reactive. You have asthma, you have ulcerative colitis, thyroid, sex hormone imbalance, autoimmune, cancer, and skin. So there we have the cellular stress. Okay. And now, okay, so that's not what will be, where do I begin? Now, my favorite one is to dream the impossible dream. This is where you see me, my own struggle and discernment of really going a different way. Okay, so the first thing I did was, having gone through this one, going for what you call the alternative, or rather the first one was the conventional is basically to buy time. Because I'm 4th stage cancer, so I have to get the hormonal jab first before it spread. So basically it's to buy time for me. And of course later I went for alternative one. And now for me, the first thing is very crucial for me is to educate myself on cancer. Knowledge is power. So book crazy, reading frenzy. So the first book, Killing Cancer, Not People, is very strange. And here I have a stranger, which I do not know. Somehow, through my updates to my friends, he got my updates as well. Then he sent me a text, Father, this is a book you must read. I don't know him. Then I said, where do you stay? Oh, he's staying somewhere near to my brother. Okay, you pass the book to my brother. And I can tell you, I really thank God for this stranger, Father, you must read this book. And really, it opened my eyes. And this book gave me the courage, really the courage to go the alternative way. I can never thank God enough for this book. And now, of course, I bought this program, Chris Beat Cancer. The beautiful program about this guy also. He had stage 3 cancer. I can't recall what is it. I bought that module and I went through it. And the other one is called How to Solve Cancer, another book about a lady that was really had cancer. And so she was struggling with it. And the same thing, she really did a lot of research, reading. Finally came home. And of course, these are the 4 books which I really got hand in first. The other was Anti-Cancer, A New Way of Life. These were the 4 books which I read. And then, of course, the others one, Metabolic Disease, Cancer Industry, and then the next one, the red light therapy, Eat to Beat Disease. This is by Dr. William Lee, well-known writer. And then, of course, we have the next one is Healthy Cells, Healthy Life, Redox Matter. This is regarding the ASEA redox matter. And then, of course, Alkalize or Die. Basically, cancer cannot survive in an alkaline environment. Our body is mostly acidic. So, and then, of course, this book, Radical Remission, is very inspiring. I really love reading this book. And when I read this book, it really affirmed that I'm doing the right thing, going the alternative way. And then, of course, prostate cancer and reverse aging, there are 2 more books. And okay, and of course, besides the books, many other books, then also I attend webinars. Can survive. For those of you here who have cancer, or for those who may next time, Can Survive is really, really very good. He has lots of what we call videos from the months of webinars and so forth. When I was in KL, I went in, really, wow, really opened my eyes when I did research. So you can go into the website, Can Survive Malaysia. For those of you who have cancer who want to do a little more research, go into this. Same thing with it. the introduction to pillars. Here talks about 9 pillars of well-being. That means whether you have cancer or whether you don't have cancer, it's very important for us to know what are the 9 pillars of our well-being. One will be on alkaline, one will be oxygenation, and many more. So remember, whether you have cancer or no cancer, these 9 pillars of well-being affect every one of us. You go in the Scan Survive, you can get it. And of course, these are the webinars. And of course, I also go through a lot of video clips and articles from PubMed. My brother helped me a lot, gave me articles and so forth. In other words, I really did a lot of research. And it's very important for me especially, no, I will not mortgage my decision-making away. So partly because of my own SJC training, it's important for me that before I make any decision, I must have all the facts and information ready at hand. I cannot just simply listen to one and just follow the instructions. No. So this is my SJC training. Get all the facts and information so I become more well-informed, and when I make a decision, it is an informed decision. Okay, so webinars, articles, video clips, and so forth, I really did a lot of research. In other words, when I make a decision, it really becomes an informed decision. And okay, now so much for that. How much time more do I have? 1 hour gone already, not yet. How much time do I have? An hour, 25 minutes, okay. A radical change of lifestyle. Okay, dancing my cancer away. Actually, cancer has a strange way for me of throwing me out of balance. At the same time, I used to say, there's magic in the mess. It really messed up my life, but there's a magic there, there's a wake-up call. And so first of all, it's a radical change of my lifestyle. No longer will be the lifestyle as before. No, it has to be a radical change of lifestyle. And here I would like to stress that, especially for those who believe in the pill culture. Give me the pill, hoping the pill will do the magic. No, I don't believe in that. It has to be a radical change of lifestyle. So now the radical change, relational, mental, emotional, physical, and nutritional. So these are the 5 areas here which I would like to go a little bit in detail. The first one is faith. In other words, is my relationship with God. This is the key and central one. Because my whole experience of cancer is really a spiritual journey, so to speak, more than anything else. In other words, I can say, dancing with God, dancing my cancer away. Okay? So this is the most important part. And then, of course, family. And knowing well that here I do not have my own blood ties. Back in KL, I do have my own brother and my brother's own family. So, and thank God enough, I say, God has strange ways of arranging for me to stay with one family, which I never thought about staying with them. I thought of staying with another family. This family was really another godsend for me, where the environment was really good, stress-free environment and so forth. So I stayed with the family. I got a lot of support from them. And of course, from friends. Many of you here were so worried and concerned about me that many of you here really prayed for me, and perhaps maybe some are still praying for me. So same too with my friends in KL, but parishioners, my brother was arranging for what we call novenas and so forth and so forth. So these are the ones that really prayed very hard for me. Not only prayed very hard for me, but also really gave me a lot of financial support. Remember, treating cancer is not cheap. It's really expensive. So the best thing for us is prevent. The best prevention is better than cure. It's really, really expensive. So for those friends who have collectively or individually supported me financially, I'm really very grateful to them. And of course, mental. We look at the mental, just the other slide, stress-free environment. This was the place where I stay. It's a bungalow, three levels, got swimming pool as well, in the third floor. But the swimming pool, I did not swim because the water is cold. And of course, there are 2 maids there, a family that do all my washing and cooking for me. So in another sense, I was very, very grateful that I have such facilities given to me. And the one here is just outside the room where I stay. You have a very good, so I do my Tai Chi, I do my Qigong outside there. In that stress-free environment. Was really good. 1 year stress-free environment. So I can never say, or I can never emphasize how important is it to have a stress-free environment to recover from cancer. And the other one is mental. You look at that one, the heaviest burden we carry are the thoughts in our head. True or not? True or not? Yes. The heaviest burden is all in our head. And then, so here we're talking about how do I handle this mind problem. And of course, one of the ways I handle it is even I teach connecting with those who have cancer using mantras. My favorite way is mantras. Just for example, my mantras are what? Every morning when I wake up, I look at the mirror, I will make fun of myself. Really, this is the stuff the laughter therapy getting. I made a clown of myself. And what I will say, I will say 4 mantras. I feel great. I look great. I am great. Every day is a great day. Incredible. I feel great. I look great. I am great. Every day is a great day for me. So I just repeat it. And not only when I'm brushing my teeth, once in a while I come to me, I just repeat it. It's really, really good when you do this. So why? It is to keep my mindset very positive. Okay? The mantras. As I've been teaching those people, I'm connecting with mantras as well. The next one is emotions. How emotions harm your body. You look at anger weakens the liver, grief weakens the lungs, worry weakens the stomach, stress weakens your heart and brain, fear weakens the kidney. Incredible here. Just see how emotions weaken our body. Not only that, negative emotions will draw more negative energy. And we have more negative emotions, energy, more acidic the body becomes. And I say, cancer thrives in an acidic environment, not in an alkaline environment. So with cancer, I cannot afford to have a negative mindset. A positive mindset is very important. And so, of course, here, the book that have really prepared me was this book, The Power of Now, my favorite, which I used to, when I was staying with this God family, I was coaching 3 ladies using this book, The Power of Now. This book I read more than 20 years ago, and I always recommend to my close friends, read that book. How our mind can play monkey tricks with us. The Power of Now. So when I was coaching them, it was rereading them again for a second time and with them. And in the light of my cancer, I see things very differently. So the Power of Now helps me to bring all this together. Okay? And now the physical. Just look at it. I do walking every morning, about half an hour to 45 minutes of walking. And walking in the morning will soak up the morning sun before 9 a.m. If earlier, here in Kuching, before 8 a.m., I will soak up a lot of morning sun. It's very important that I soak up a lot of morning sunlight. And then Tai Chi, after walking, I will have Tai Chi and Qigong. They will last me about another 40 minutes. And then I do my own push-ups, I do squatting, I do my chin-ups. You see, I do rowing. You see the machine there? My brother bought me the rowing machine, which I do in the afternoon. And then, of course, the other one, you see, I use it for my chin-ups and my push-ups. I used to do this when I was young. So push-up, squatting, and chin-up, these were the basic one I did when I was young. And of course, I do dance therapy. That's why I love dancing and so forth. Dance therapy, not in a group form, but because in my own way. Sometimes I'll play the video clip on laughter therapy while I dance according to the laughter. So the laughter will be, that means it's really, really very good. Where you fill my body with really positive emotions. Movement, laughter, dancing. So now that I am using what we call crutches, I don't think I can dance anymore. But then I do different ways of dancing. So this is my physical one, which means that every day I would have done 2 hours of exercises. And it's one form of really part of my own cancer treatment protocol. Nearly 2 hours of it. Okay. And then, of course, now the next one, something about our body. And here I've taken this book from the book, Healthy Life, Healthy Cells, Healthy Life. Our body has an amazing self-healing mechanism. Give it the right resources and it will take care of itself. By Dr. Robertson D. Ward from the book, Healthy Cells, Healthy Life. In other words, here, our body is so amazing, feed our body well. And of course now, nutritional part, I talk about is a plant-based diet for me. So I take the plant-based diet for my own nutrition, which I'm still doing it. Why? Because I remember when I had after about 9 months of my alternative therapy, my nutritionist friend and his wife celebrated the first wedding anniversary. So he invited another friend of his. 4 of us, we went to quite a posh restaurant for dinner. Then my friend jokingly said, "Father, you can have buka puasa now." Wow, good, I never thought about buka puasa. All the while I was very stringent anti-cancer diet, plant-based. Wow, that evening there, wow, so nice, everything seems so good. Can wall up everything. Oh, no. I was gingerly taking a bit this, taking a bit of that. So very gingerly taking this. Why? Because I do not want to start suddenly eating things which I'm not supposed to eat, or maybe eating too much. So I just took a bit of this, a bit of that. I'm still now on my plant-based diet, or we call that anti-cancer diet. So this is important because if I don't jaga this, if I start eating all those barang-barang which I'm not supposed to eat, I may get a relapse. Okay, cancer can be cured. There's aloe vera. And then, of course, okay, acid-alkaline balance. This is another reason why we have to really take a good look at the food we eat. And look at it. Acidic food intake, primary reason for sickness. Yes. for our sickness because we are taking too many acidic food. And then, of course, primarily milk, sugar, soda, coffee, and fast food. These are the ones that makes our body very acidic. Not to mention meats, red meats. They're very acidic. So we need to balance the acidic and the alkaline environment. So you get elevated acidic atmosphere keeps you in a panic mood. You see, when you have too high acidic level, you're always in a panic mood. And then your food choice determines your pH direction. Now you understand the acidic alkaline balance is crucial, particularly for those with cancer. And a plant-based diet is basically alkaline. As I mentioned earlier, cancer cannot survive in an alkaline environment. It thrives in an acidic environment. And of course, gut health. This is another key issue here. And this is taken from source Healthy Cells, Healthy Life. Look at our guts. Our belly controls our brain. And this is so important for us. Remember to eat, make sure you eat well. Look at it. Many, because of the fast food culture nowadays we are actually feeding the bad bacteria and flora in our body. Bad one, where you have burger, fried food, processed food, and so forth. That is bad for our gut health. And therefore, for good health, this is where we have many what we call fermented food, leafy greens, and so forth. So we have to really jaga our gut health. Now remember, our belly controls our brain. Okay, now let's talking about vegetarians have 14% lower cancer risk than meat eaters. This from Oxford University. Yes, vegetarians. Why? For the simple reason the body is more alkaline. Okay? And then, okay. So now back again, just a little bit of summary. My radical change of lifestyle in a nutshell. Stay connected means connected with friends, God, family, and friends. These are the ones that give me what we call support. And ironically, did you realize that when I was recovering from cancer, I used to send updates. Some of you receive my updates. And of course, from receiving updates, friends pass it on to the friends. And then they will text me, Father, this person got cancer. So they refer to me. And I have circle of people with cancer connection as far as America, as far as London, and of course in Malaysia. Really, really, people were suffering from cancer. And the one is UK is a very serious one. So here they're connecting. In other words, I myself am in cancer, but I'm reaching out to help those people with cancer. So it never occurred to my mind that God has strange ways. The joker upstairs know how to make use of me even when I am recovering from cancer. So staying connected with family, with friends, and with God, and stay hydrated. So here, like to say, drinking water is important, enough water. And of course, for my own cancer treatment, I take alkaline water. I have an alkaline ionizer installed, given free to me by my friend in KL. And I've got hydrogen ionizer as well, hydrogen water. And also I take Arcia redox water. So these are the one, even water, and very particularly of what water I'm taking. Because these are part of my own healing process. So I take alkaline, hydrogen, and redox water. That is staying hydrated. And of course, protect your liver. And liver is one of the most important organs in our body. So if we get ourselves overwhelmed our liver by drinking alcohol or by eating too much sugar or processed food, we'll be in trouble. The liver will be very badly affected. So protect your liver. And then feed your guts so your guts will feed on you. Yes. Make sure, be aware of what you eat. So I was really very careful with my diet. What I eat, what I put in, and what I don't eat. What I drink, and what I don't drink. And then, of course, move your body, move my body. And I'm not the one to sit still for long. For a simple reason, I know how important movement is to my body. If you have heard of it, born to move. To move is to live. I cannot be afford to be seated. No, I move. And this is where exercise comes in. How come this one? Wait, okay. Move your body and exercise. I mean, exercise is very important. I say, one day I nearly did 2 hours of exercise. And exercise is a beautiful way of really fighting cancer. Okay, now, how much time do I have some more? Oh, very good. Okay, what I've learned very briefly from my own experience of cancer, God's unseen hands at work, yes. There's no doubt about it. Bringing back to KL and so forth, I really see God's unseen works at hand. Really, really. When I ask God for a sign, God will give me a sign. When I ask God to give me a sign to confirm the sign, God will give me a sign. Incredible here. Great is His love, love without end. Really, really great. And then I trust God, take risks. So the more I am connected with God, the more I dare to take risk. I'm not the one who say, okay, I just follow the conventional doctor telling me, do this, I'll just do this. No, for a simple reason, I'm also a very curious person. If you do not realize that I am also a very avid reader. I read a lot. And the discernment is crucial. I have spoken just now. It's part of my own Jesuit training to read, to get more facts, information, so that I make a good, informed choice. And also, when I made this choice again is brought before God. God, do you want me to move this way or not? Give me a sign. And I will call up my friends. Those, if I just get a bit of news according to this friend who recovered from cancer, wow, immediately I get a phone, I call that person up to find out what happened and so on and so forth. So I don't wait people to tell me, Father, go, no. The moment I can call up the friends. And then, of course, believe in me even when others don't. And this is very crucial. Self-belief. And when I took the steps that I will not take radiotherapy, and I will no continue with my hormonal jab, wow. You can see the amount of opposition I met. Really, from my brother, from my boss, from close friends. Father, you should combine this and that. Don't take this and so forth. Wow. It really takes a lot of courage to go my own way. That's why believe in me even when others don't. Self-belief is really crucial. And so against all odds and challenge conventional wisdom. So what I did was I challenged conventional wisdom. Conventional wisdom tells me this is the way you go. But no, After reading so many books, my eyes are open. No, I'm not going that way. I'm going my way. Okay. Then, of course, with this, take charge about healing. And here, I would not allow doctors just to make decisions for me, especially conventional doctors, for a simple reason. I respect them a lot, but conventional doctors are trained to see within the box. They're very good at seeing within the box, not outside. So here, no, I take charge about healing. And cancer is a great teacher. Has taught me many things, really, in all aspects of life, to tell me what is important, what is not so important. Just like in time of a crisis, water crisis, you realize the value of water. So when I have cancer fighting for life, then you know the value of life. The others are not important anymore. This is why he's a great teacher in that sense here. It is my dancing partner. Why I love the dancing partner? Because very often I read about, wow, you have to kill the cancer cells, eliminate the cancer cells, and so forth. And thanks to my own reading here, they're not supposed to be eliminated. Cancer cells are not my enemy. They are part of me, cells that are damaged, and now in a different way. So now how do I therefore really take them as a dancing partner and really dance with them? First of all, by really strengthening my immune system. So they taught me a lot. That's why I use the word dancing. And it's cancer, a real blessing in disguise. Open my eyes. Staying in a stress-free environment is so important in a support group. So this is basically a summary of what I have learned during my 1 year in Kuala Lumpur. So this is the end of my sharing, and now open to you for question and answer. Thank you. Any question? You have the mic in front there. Don't be afraid to ask questions, because what you ask will benefit others as well. Huh? Oh, very nice. I finished my one in time. So we have 20 minutes for Q&A, and then after the last part, we'll have a video clip. It's a very inspiring video clip. It's 40 minutes video clip. So they make up 2 hours. Okay, don't be shy. If not, the mic will be brought to you, yes.
Morning. Morning, Father.
Morning, yeah.
Actually, I was asked to attend this talk of yours by a friend who is suffering from a serious, what do you call that, a relapse of prostate cancer. So I have 2 questions here. So can I conclude that your body actually heals itself because of your change of lifestyle rather than the treatment itself? Second question is, when you are diagnosed with cancer, I think most people we have received tons of, what do you call that, advice from different people. So how do you come to the conclusion that you go for what you have done? And the third question is, what was your emotional state of life during all these months of your treatment? Thank you.
Okay, 3 questions. Okay, I try the emotional state of life. Okay, that's very important. Talking about emotions, because emotions affects all our body. So basically, I've shared with you the very first night when I was told I had cancer, I took it very peacefully and calmly. And for the rest of my days as well. Of course, certain days I've been worried how to handle this, getting this done, and so forth. But overall, I can say I did it very well. So positive behavior, because I'm trained to to handle my mind, emotions, at the same time my spiritual connection. So emotionally, I can say I am very calm, sound, and so forth. I was not really disturbed at all. Obviously, as I said, sometimes you have some negative thoughts that come in, but I handle them very well. So emotionally, I was very calm, very peaceful, as what will be, will be. So there's the emotional part. And then the one is talking about, yes, advice here, advice there. This is a good question. Why? Because when when I was, having this life-threatening sickness, the first one I said is, people give me advice. But as I've shared earlier, whatever advice given to you, there's more or less information coming in from different sources. So for me, I have to really screen this information, so to speak. Ultimately, I am the one that will make the decision. And because I'm the one that will make the decision, and this is where discernment comes in. So I'll weigh this, weigh that. Sometimes they're very confusing. Even with the articles that I read online and so forth, they have very confusing perspective, conflicting perspective. Now, how do I, therefore, really make a good decision? But the more I read about, especially those people who are recovered from cancer, with the books they've written and with the video clips, they're so inspiring. The more I realize, yes, what I've done was moving in that direction. And my own feelings confirm it. And I always ask God, give me a sign, give me a confirmation sign. So the question of discernment is very important. Ultimately, I have to make my own decisions. Not him, not here, not here. Not even my brothers. My elder brother was pushing me along this line, but I took another line. Just to let you know, for me, going for my radiotherapy, when the time came for me for radiotherapy, I asked my nutritionist GP and my nutritionist friend, and I said, do I need to go for my radiotherapy? The first time I asked her, she said yes. The second time I asked her, maybe a month or two later, she confirmed yes. Twice, she said, yes, go for my radiotherapy because I have stage 4 prostate cancer. And of course, my nutritionist friend also supported the decision. Now, can you imagine that my brother supported the decision? My nutritionist GP supported the decision. And of course, my boss tells me also support. Can you imagine here I am not standing alone? Wow! Seemingly against all odds, making a foolhardy decision to go against conventional wisdom. Wow. And I have many of my cancer friends who, for whatever reasons, just follow the advice of conventional doctors. To them, the conventional doctors have the gospel truth, the whole gospel truth. But not for me. I really read them. This makes me more critical and more discerning. And this is a good question you ask, basically, for those who would be one of them. Ultimately, I have to make my own decision. Not him, not her, not anyone. And this is where discernment coming to pray with God is so important. And every moment, I keep in touch with my feelings. Where are my feelings moving? If I really feel good about it, wow, so good, so peaceful, so kind, yes, this is the way I move. And again, I seek out those people who have cancer to find out from them what is the secret of your success at treatment. So don't be afraid to ask questions. Seek out people if you know them, call them, find out, meet them, and so forth. I remember when going to one of my friends recommended me, Father, you're going to see this person, so and so. He is the, what do you call, just slip my mind. Okay, staying in place and so on and forth. Then I call up, make an arrangement to see him, and he's a representative of the professor in Penang on one cancer cure. I finally got to see him, and after telling him very briefly my own PSA results, and then he said to me, Father, there's nothing more you need to do. Every 3 months, you go to see a doctor to monitor my PSA result. And he said one thing that flattered me. He said, Father, you're one of those very rare people who dig up on cancer. For the others, presumably, no. And I know many friends who just follow the advice of conventional. Nothing wrong with them. They want to go that way, fine. But I take a different way. If I don't have to take a different way, I wouldn't be here today. You see? Strange ways. So I've opened sharing my cancer experience. So God has his own very strange ways here. My body is different from your body. It's all very, very different body. So we interact, or our body react differently. But one thing is important. Go to Cancer Vibes to read up the 9 pillars of well-being. I said, whether you have cancer or whether not cancer, it applies to everyone. So thank you for the questions of confusion. And the first one question was on what? There's one more question. I've forgotten that one.
My first question was, I think, is my understanding of the conclusion of this talk is, was it actually your body which cured itself because you went through all this change of lifestyle and this regimen of changing your food and everything else?
Thank you. Okay, basically, when you talk about conventional treatment, many of you have known already, there's nothing new. Conventional treatment is very toxic. I have a few friends I connected with. One had relapsed lung cancer. I met him in the UAMC there, bumped into him. Father, I have relapsed cancer. Cancer of lungs, relapse. And went to the same, what they call toxic treatment. Within a few months, he died. Another one, the same thing, stomach cancer. So I was suggesting, perhaps maybe you look at this way. I only give suggestions. So he just went along with conventional therapy. So this is what is it. So talking about basically plant-based diet is alkaline. That's why when we feed ourselves well, I am strengthening my own immune system. Not weakening it, not suppressing it, but strengthening my own immune system, that my immune system will be able to fight. This is it. So immune system, conventional therapy really weakens or destroys your immune system, whereas the alternative therapy really supports our immune system. Okay? So the body is able, therefore, to fight itself. Okay, any more questions?
Good morning, Father.
Yeah, morning.
I salute you, Father. My question is rather personal, if you don't mind. Is it okay, Father?
Please do carry on.
Yeah, it has been more than a year since you were diagnosed. May I ask, do you have any symptoms before you were diagnosed? That's number one. What are the symptoms, you see? Number two, what is your current stage of your cancer? Have you gone to any further tests or any other checkup to determine the situations now?
Thank you.
Number three, the last questions, rather personal. In most cases, when one is detected to have prostate cancer, the doctor will always tell us, yeah, you have, this number of years left and so on. Did they say that to you? Thank you, Father.
I can't hear the third one properly.
The third one is, most of the time, the specialists will tell us that you have this number of years to go because you're in this stage and so on. Did they say that to you? Thanks, Father.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, symptoms, the first one regarding symptoms, for my prostate ones, I don't really have many symptoms at all. I have, when I was in the mid-50s, I have this problem of frequent night urination. So presumably, I have been taking prescribed drugs, this one for many years. I still do have it, but it's still there. And my prostate only came later, only last year, 2020. So there was hardly much symptoms. So my night urination is more or less the same thing. Seemingly, they are independent of one another. Now, my prostate was not really enlarged, was more or less normal. So these are symptoms here until another blood test shows up. Then I thought talking about how do I monitor my PSA results, my current status. Let me just say you, my last, hormonal jab was October 2021. That means about 9 months ago. So then my prostate reading was, with the last jab, it went up to 0.01. And then finished no more taking the jab, then it rise up later 0.04. And just 2 weeks ago, I monitor my PSA every 3 months, it went to 0.74. Still very good. And my urologist told me, Father, when you stop taking the ADT hormonal jab, do not worry, your PSA level will rise up a bit. Do not worry, so long as within the safety zone 4. So I'm just 0.74. In other words, here, no toxic intervention. I'm doing very well. So that is the part of it. And the last question was again just now. Last question, yeah. I didn't bring a pen along, sorry. Last question was again, what was it?
Regarding, experts will always tell us that
yes. Okay. I do have friends also, experts who tell me, friends who tell me, Father, I'm giving certain months to live, no more. Hopeless cases. So conventional doctors have already given up hope on these people. And I read from the book, Radical Remission, even hopeless cases, when they go the alternative way, were healed. In other words, cases that they are not what they call uncommon. The only thing is they are not documented. So, and Can Survive has one beautiful video clip on this lady, I think a very educated lady, I think she's now a doctor. She went through all those conventional therapy. Family members are all doctors and so forth. Doctors give up going nowhere. And finally, she decided to go alternative. And she was cured. And then it came out with her own video clip there. Very inspiring. Conventional therapy did end. So finally, she was forced to go alternative way. She recovered. So talking about one thing I want to make sure that when I've asked many of my cancer patients, those relapse or not relapse, I say, what did the doctor tell you to eat and not to eat? This is my favorite questions. No restriction on diet, eat anything you like. Wow. I say, ayyo, no wonder you get relapse. You eat like this, you're going to get relapse again. No restriction on food, eat anything that you want. This for me is no good. It is very, very risky. Diet, for me, plays a crucial role. So I cannot just simply eat. So this is one thing, talking about few months to live. Yes, some people say our bodies are very different. Some really hopeless cases, they got healed. Some may not. Okay, any more questions? Yeah.
Thank you, Colin. Hi, Father. Question 1. Where do you get this heavy metal test? Can you do it here?
Oh, very good question. Heavy metal test, I found out that the clinic when I went to this nutrition GP, because she treats quite a number of cancer patients. So every patient, the first one they'll send them is a heavy metal test. And the heavy metal test, they send it to, in Malaysia, we don't have facilities here. So I've all sent overseas. And the blood test company, the pathology company I went to, is they sent all to Taipei. And 1 month later, I got back the result. And I found out that this same company has a branch here in Kuching. And I went out to find out more. Oh, yes, they do have. And even my records are there. But I have to get a referral letter from my doctor to get the result. But anyway, recently I just went again to take my mercury test. My mercury is the most poisonous toxins in the body. And once you get in the body, it takes many, many years to flush it out. Why? Because it gets into your bones. And my mercury is a little bit still in the red zone, about 77 like this. So the others are out of the red zone, but it's still in the red zone. And I took the test just to find out where my mercury is. And I found out also from my friend, a cancer friend, that there's one doctor here who can do IV chelations. That means the intravenous detox my, heavy metals, as I did in KL. So if you want more, you can find out from me. There's one branch here in Kuching.
Thank you, Father. Second question.
Yeah.
What do you do for your laughter therapy?
Sorry? Oh, very good. Laughter therapy. I used to send
and do your neighbors think you've gone mad?
Sorry?
Do your neighbors think you've gone mad? You're laughing by yourself?
Okay, now let me tell you. Whenever I go into the car, 2 things I do. Either laughter therapy or I pray the rosary. These 2. So when I'm driving, I would just laugh at myself. Just laugh. Just laugh. It really, really feels good. And so when I dance along with a video clip. If you go to YouTube there, you just type world greatest laughter. It's 3 minutes. World greatest laughter. Wow, you just laugh along. Every morning when I eat breakfast, preparing breakfast, I just laugh along. And because now I cannot dance anymore, because I used to dance with the sunlight soaking up the sun. Laughter therapy is really very good because it really boosts up your positive energy, your positive emotions. What we call the dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins. Really good for people with cancer. The more you dance, the better it would be, because it really makes you mood. Have you heard of people dancing away the depression? dancing away the anger. So my verse, dancing my cancer away. I love that. Laughter and dancing. Yeah, very simple. Okay, any more? Yes.
Father, you were sharing about one of the participants about you were trained to, to more the emotions.
Yes.
Maybe can you share with us what is your technique and how do you actually started to have this mind trends emotions? Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Actually, this is a good question. And I believe I used to tell even the counselors here, because we're so trained into the Western approach. And the Western approach had its own limitations. And then I would say, no, look at another approach. This is the Eastern approach, where we talk about using what we call the non-dual perspective. Much of our life here, we follow the dual perspective, the Western model. But you'll find it difficult, dual and non-dual. But non-dual is basically here, where you read the book, The Power of Now, you get some idea. The first thing is, we are not our mind. Because the mind plays trick on us. And so how do I read it? Because I read it, and it's really so good. That's why I recommend the people to read. 3 things from the book here that's very useful. They say, watch your thoughts. Watch your thoughts. Feel your emotions. Observe your reactions. Okay, I repeat, watch your thoughts, feel your emotions, and then observe your reactions. Apply this in your daily life, you won't go far, you won't go wrong. Because we go through roller coaster ride. One moment, wow, we have one moment, we get angry and upset. No. So we have roller coaster ride. But for those of you, for those who are well integrated, they don't go to roller coaster ride. They bear ripples like this. They're very predictable. Ripples, not predictable, say roller coaster ride. No. So this is where, remember, watch your thoughts, feel your emotions, observe your reactions. Keep this one. So how do we watch our thoughts? And then nowadays in the YouTube, you get many of this. As my favorite one is Eckhart Tolle. So he's one of my favorite guru among others. It's really good. Okay, remember, watch our thoughts, feel our emotions, observe our reactions. Okay? Just very briefly. So WFO. Anything more questions before we have the... Oh, yeah, okay. Any more questions? Yeah.
Hello. I think, Father, in the beginning, you mentioned that about your lifestyle. I think nobody is better in lifestyle than Father here. Spiritual, mental, emotional, everything is perfect. I don't know whether Father has answered the question, then why did I develop cancer?
Yes.
I don't know whether I followed it. Is it all the heavy metal problems or...
Yeah, good question. As I say, I mentioned to you what drives my prostate cancer, heavy metal, and then, of course, stress. Yeah, these are the two that drive my heavy metal. Now, many of you probably, I've read a good many of those video tips and books and so forth. One of the main drivers of cancer for many people is chronic stress. And when chronic stress is very important that we know how to manage our stress. This very good guru, he was having a talk in front of the... So he just said, a glass of water, just hold it up, or got a volunteer hold it up. Okay, now this glass of water, how long can you hold? Okay, just a small glass of water. After a few while, you have to put down. If you put down, you're all aching and so forth. Now the problem with stress is like that. Because we don't put down, we think we can go on, we go on. And the amounts of hormonal changes there, the acid and sulfur-acid environment, this will really contribute to our sickness. I think we have time up already, move on.
I've got one more sensitive question. That is, somewhere I have read that celibacy has something to do with prostate problems. Celibacy. So Father must have studied about that, whether you can enlighten us. If it is very sensitive, no need to answer. But
I'm not very clear because
celibacy and prostate.
Oh, staying there?
Celibacy. Celibacy.
Oh, celibacy. Well, as I said, I used to joke when Dr. Robert Cole says, you're going to have a chemical castration. So I was saying to myself, I don't use that, it's no problem. So I'm not sure whether I answered the question or not. Sowing the seeds. I'm not sure whether I answered that question or not. You take out the mask because it's not very clear, a bit muffled. When you take out the mask and speak, a bit muffled, Take out the mask and speak, correct, Correct, much better,
Yesterday somebody sent me a WhatsApp message giving that this is the contents of Father's talk, and in which it is mentioned that celibates, I mean the priests who are they don't get married, they have got a higher chance of getting prostate problems.
Yeah.
So is it true? Father must have studied it.
Okay, good question. Basically, a lot of women get breast cancer. True or not? And prostate cancer is the counterpart of breast cancer. For men, it's very normal. After a certain age, you will be prostate cancer if our lifestyle is not well taken care of. So, yes, I've read a lot of articles about priests getting prostate cancer, and so because they're celibates. So far, those people that I'm in contact with who have prostate cancer, most of them are not celibates. They are just ordinary people. So yes, as I said, I've got my own circle of people suffering from cancer. They're not celibates. Okay. Okay, I think one more last question. We got a video. One last question. Come. Just hold on. The mic is coming.
Good morning, Father.
Yeah.
Do you take our herbs, local herbs?
Sorry?
Our local herbs.
Local herbs.
Yeah.
My nutritionist doctor prescribed me, he has a very good cancer treatment protocol. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, what to take, what vitamins, what supplements, and so forth and so forth. So there's part of, so herbs, so far I've only taken what you call vitamin supplements, but there's one local herb here is quite popular with local people here. This is the what I want to call Kaladi tikus. I'm not sure whether you heard of it. Kaladi tikus, what you call a rodent tuber. It can be easily grown in your backyard. And this is the one that the professor in Penang really discovered, or whatever is it, and is sold worldwide. And this is a product of Malaysia. MOE, Ministry of Medicine, DOM, have approved it. It's called Kaladi tikus. So you search internet here, you can get it. So for quite some time, I've been taking the Kaladi tikus as well. So there are many other herbs. But normally, the food that I take, like aloe vera, what do you call those, cabbages and all those food. They're very good enough already. But of course, herbs, I seldom take only herbs and so forth. But the one who I heard of the scleroticus. Okay, I think we have enough time. We have, okay, I think we will have a video here. This video is very inspiring. The person with third stage, fourth stage colon cancer and has been healed. Watch it, it's very good. Okay, thank you.
Welcome back, everyone. Due to popular demand, I'm bringing Fred back after our cancer interview. There's so many questions. That video hit over 1 million views, and there's a lot of questions. So we want to talk about what to eat once you get cancer. Now, there's a diet to prevent cancer, which, you know, I think it's going to be healthy keto and intermittent fasting. But once you get cancer, what do you eat? So that's what we're going to talk about today. So welcome, Fred.
Hi, thanks for having me again.
Absolutely. For those of you that haven't seen the first video, I'm going to put that link down below. But in a thumbnail sketch, you had a tumor that was how large? Was it 15 centimeters?
10 centimeters.
10 centimeters, okay, in your colon. And within 4 months, it shrank down to nothing. So it was a stage 3, borderline stage 4. It was remarkable what you did. And so we want to talk about exactly the details because there's so many questions. Is that correct? You've been getting a lot of questions?
Yeah, absolutely. To the point that I couldn't answer everyone, and I apologize. I had questions on my YouTube channel. I received email messages. I tried to answer everybody or as much as I could underneath your video. It took a lot of time. So I'm really glad you invited me to a question and answer. So it's gonna be much easier for me.
Yes. And just to make a disclaimer, anything that I say is not meant to diagnose or replace your medical care. Check with your doctor before implementing anything we're going to talk about. And we have no vitamins to sell you. So that's my disclaimer. And I want to just jump right in. A really important part of this program is fasting, a 21-day fast. So I guess the first question, you know, when you tell someone they have to fast for 21 days, they're probably going to freak out. So how is it possible that you can fast for 21 days? I mean, aren't you going to starve to death? Like how would you respond to that question?
Well, first, it's important to know that I didn't jump into some kind of woohoo EP treatment. I was followed by my oncologists both in France and in the US all the time, and I made my research. I didn't want to bet my life on someone told me, oh, yeah, you know, you should fast when you have cancer. So I read all the scientific literature. I read all of Dr. Thomas Siegfried's research, Dr. Walter Longo's research, and at some point I discovered your video, which, and I'm being very honest with it, really helped me. But yeah, I made the research, and the 21-day water fast seems to be some kind of a perfect time to help with cancer. And like we discussed in the previous video, I'm completely aware that I was in the perfect condition to do that. And everybody needs to make his own research to adapt it to his own lifestyle, level of stress, weight, talk to your doctor. There's a lot of things. I mean, don't just do what I did. What I'm trying to do here when I talk to you, Dr. Bird, and to your members, is simply to share my experience and tell you there is a possibility to do something else or to add something to your treatment. There's some research that you can do. That's what I'm trying to do. As far as the 21-day fast, well, it's very easy. You know, you all know now, following Dr. Burks, the principle of autophagy, which is basically when your healthy cells have nothing to eat, instead of dying of hunger, they will feed on your non-healthy cells. So basically the healthy cells will eat, literally eat the cancer cells. And that's the reason why fasting is so powerful when you have cancer. And that's what I did. And 21 days, no fun. And like I said the other day, if I were to do it today, I would probably fail because I don't have a good reason to do it, even though fasting is always healthy. But when someone tells you, you're probably going to die, you know, and all the research seemed to indicate that if you fast, this is not going to happen. You just do it. You know, it's not even a question. So that's why it was not that hard. But was I weak? Was I tired? Yes, of course. Did I spend most of my 21 days lying down on my bed? Yeah, absolutely. Did I lose weight? Yeah, that too. Did I feel great? No, absolutely not. But it worked. After I had my first MRI before and my second MRI after the 21-day fast, and the results were here. The tumor went from 10 centimeters to 5.
You know, when you're dealing with a life or death situation, most people will do whatever they can. And, you know, if it requires fasting. And the thing about fasting is what you guys need to know is it's the most important thing you can do because of all the different things that kick in from a genetic level to hormone level, like the growth hormones go down, the cancer cells start committing suicide because when you don't eat, your body goes in this hyper survival mode and it starts to survive better. And so you get all the cancer genes that turn off and then your cells actually recycle the cancer cells for food. So that's a great thing to be able to turn your cancer cells into food for your normal cells. That, I mean, there's just so much research on this. And I think it's important to, you know, not just blindly follow anyone, to really get the data, study it. And unfortunately, there's a lot of big new terms when you read the research. So you're going to have to get several dictionaries out. You're going to have to get a medical dictionary, and you're going to have to understand some of these studies so you can have the confidence to know that, you know, it can work for you.
Yeah. And you are so right when you say that, because one of the first things that I did when I learned that I had cancer was to educate myself. What is cancer? What do we know about it? And one of the things that I always tell people is I healed from cancer by trusting the science and not the doctors. And I'm not throwing a stone at the doctors, not at all, but not everybody's up to date with the latest research. And when you start reading 2022, 2021, 2000, all those latest research on cancer and fasting and cancer and the ketogenic diet and cancer as a metabolic disease, you learn so much that or at least my oncologist didn't tell me about. So getting educated and taking your health into your own hands is the key to whatever I did. And that's the only thing that I would recommend people.
Yeah, I mean, in a thumbnail sketch, the way you solve problems is by understanding the problem more. That always seems to solve any problem, right? Okay, yeah. So now, you didn't really have a lot of weight to lose when you did this, right? So you did get skinny. You went from what weight to what weight?
I went from 70 kilos to 49 kilos.
Okay.
So sorry, I don't know what it is in pounds, but basically I went from a very healthy and fit body composition to nothing but bones.
Okay. As far as during the fasting period, let's not talk about the supplements first, but what about, did you have anything did you have coffee? You drank water? Was there anything, juices? Did you have anything to eat?
So that's one of the number one question I received from the people is, what did you eat during your 21-day fast? And the answer is nothing. It was not intermittent fasting, and people really have to make the difference. It was not a juice fast or a raw food fast. It was a fast, period. So I didn't eat anything in 21 days. I mostly had water, and I was supposed to drink 1 little shot of wheatgrass juice, freshly pressed wheatgrass juice every day, which I didn't because it tastes horrible, until And here again, thank you, Dr. Berg, until I saw your video on your wheatgrass juice powder, which I bought immediately and changed my life. And I'm not getting paid to say that. I have no personal interest. I'm just saying because it's the truth. And from that moment, it was much easier for me to consume a little bit of wheatgrass juice when I needed it. So basically, I don't know, maybe 3-4 times a week, I would have a little shot of wheatgrass juice, and that was it. So water most of the time, and wheatgrass juice once in a while. That's all I had for 21 days.
Okay, now let's shift to the supplements, because that's an important question. For those of you that are new watching this, we did a study, myself, Guy Tundenbaum, and a lot of you viewers that are watching right now donated to this cancer research we did in Europe with the help of Maurice Israel, who is a professor. He has his MD and as a medical doctor, as well as his PhD in biochemistry. Very, very smart person who helped us set up this study. He found some fascinating data as far as the weak link of cancer, the Achilles heel, the area where it's a really big difference between a cancer cell and a normal cell. And without getting into any technical things, there's a door that goes into cancer that allows the cancer cells to make membranes. And without those membranes, the cancer cell cannot survive. And so this metabolic enzyme name, the initials are Scott. And so if you could potentially block this enzyme, you could starve the cancer, not from fuel, but from its raw material, its structure, its membrane. So the problem is, well, most chemo, not most, but a handful of chemo drugs, I mean, it could be most, I don't know, actually block Scott. But they also kill the cancer and they kill your immune system. And it just so happens, even a cancer cell itself is has some of your own immune cells in the cancer tumor itself, or the cancer. So in other words, we wanted to find a natural way to block Scott without the toxic effect of destroying your immune system. Well, he did some previous research and he found great success. So what we did is we did that research and we compared it to one of the most powerful chemo drugs to see how it compared. And it did very well. I did a summary of that study. I'll put that link down below. But anyway, there's certain nutrients that can block this enzyme to potentially close the door on the reproduction of the cancer cell. And then you took like the two big ones are alpha lipoic acid and Carcinia cambogia. So tell us a little bit about the supplements that you took, because I know there was a lot of extra things you took as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And please forgive me if I use a little bit of notes, because I don't want to forget anything for your followers. All the things that I put in my book helps me with the timeline and remembering what I did when, because as you can imagine, my brain was pretty much frozen when they told me I had cancer and I had big chances to die. So sometimes I don't remember what I did when. It's a little confusing. So I take my own book and I take a look. So basically, yes, what I did was the 21-day fast, then strict ketogenic diet, 100% organic, and then the supplements. So the supplements, just to make sure I don't forget anything, I'm gonna read my own book and take a look at it if you allow me. Mm-hmm. So basically, this is what I did. I used vitamin D3, vitamin C, turmeric, zinc, omega-3s in the form of fish oil and in the form of DHA. Then I also used the famous metabolic treatment that you just mentioned from Professor Maurice Israel, which is made of alpha lipoic acid, Garcinia cambogia, garlic or garlic extract, What else? Oh yes, melatonin is a big one. High doses of melatonin. In my case, it was anywhere between 20 and 30 grams. And bromelain, and I think that's about it.
So,
oh
so
no,
let me
I'm
just
sorry,
kind of
and matcha. Yeah, go ahead.
Matcha green tea.
Matcha green tea. Yeah.
Okay.
So those are the supplements that I used.
Great, and we'll put those down in the description. But the thing that I want to just mention real briefly, some of like melatonin, also allicin from the garlic, are also SCOT inhibitors. So there's actually many SCOT inhibitors, and that is the next thing we're looking at, is to take all these natural SCOT inhibitors and evaluate which ones are the strongest to the the weakest. But at this point, we haven't done that test, so we're going to include quite a few of the inhibitors. And melatonin is another potent compound for cancer, and of course so is garlic, and so is green tea. Green tea also blocks the cancer from consuming glutamine, which is very, very awesome, but it does other things too. So in other words, Maurice Israel looked at the whole biochemistry of what happens in cancer, and he really studied what things need to be blocked and what we could use to help block from going the front end, the back end, the back door. I'm telling you, these cancer cells are really sneaky. So you have to use strategies to handle this problem from all angles. So, so you took these natural remedies. You also, I think you had sea salt too, right? Because that's important. And some of the other vitamins you took, because you're not eating food, you're going to have to take these vitamins because your health depends on it. So you didn't eat food, but you had nutrients, which are not going to break the fast and what we're trying to do here, because they're providing something that you're really missing when you're not eating.
Yeah. So on my side, it was a hard decision as to, do I take my supplements when I'm fasting or not? And I was gonna, and that's why I suggest people do. And Guy, as you know, did it. But me, my empty stomach couldn't take the vitamins and mineral supplements when I was fasting. So I didn't take anything for the 21 days. And I started supplementing after the fast. But it's not what I recommend. It's because I have a very sensitive stomach, and I just couldn't. I took one vitamin with a little bit of water, and 2 minutes later, my stomach hurt. But yeah, usually Maurice Israel and his team suggest that you keep taking those supplements as you're fasting, definitely.
The omega-3 fatty acids composed of DHA and EPA, those are fish oils, and those are really, really, really important as well, especially for their anti-cancer. So of course, everything that you mentioned has other additional anti-cancer properties, like the turmeric, for example, and the bromelain. So I think you're just basically hitting it from a lot of different angles, because you did the research and you found, wow, this could work.
Yes, absolutely. So first, my oncologist friend in Paris, who's aware of Maurice Israel's work, and at the time, Laurent Schwartz's work, told me, okay, Fred, you got to start taking melatonin right away, high doses of melatonin. You have to start taking green tea, taking garlic. So he was aware of the protocol, which was not as complete as the time as it is now. And then a little bit later, I discovered through your channel and a common friend, Guy, contacted him and got the full protocol, and that's how I continued my treatment, so to speak.
Okay, so then when you ate, okay, so you went 20. Well, first of all, like how many? You had 4 months, right? So did you start off with a 21-day fast, or what
Yes.
type of fasting? And I think it was even for 5 days, not on the weekends. So just kind of explain the details on that.
So when I was diagnosed, I was really, really down, completely frozen. I couldn't make any decision, just thinking I was gonna die for 3 days. And after those 3 days, I kicked myself in the butt and I said, okay, I'm going to survive this. I'm going to do whatever it takes, but I'm going to survive this. And that's where I started doing my research. So almost immediately, I went on a strict 21-day fast, water fast. After that, I went on a strict organic ketogenic diet, and we can go through what I ate if you want to, for 3 months. And almost at the end, I didn't know I was almost cured at the time. We just knew that the tumor was getting smaller and smaller, but it was still here. I went for another 21-day fast, but only fasting 5 days a week and eating normally a normal ketogenic diet during the weekends. And
so you
at the end of all that,
so you started with a 21-day fast, then you went to 1 meal a day, and then you went back to 21 days of really like 5 days of fasting, and then 2 days of 1 meal a day.
Exactly.
Back
Absolutely.
and forth for 20. Okay.
Yes.
And okay, so then when you did eat, coming off of the 21-day fast, of course, you had to gradually introduce food, right?
Yes.
So let's just talk about, well, how did you gradually introduce food? What did you eat?
Well, first, I was on a strict ketogenic diet, so zero carbs, or as close to zero as I could. No sugar, not even fruits. And basically, I was left with proteins, fats, and veggies. So I tried, I went on a quest almost to discover what can I eat and what I couldn't. And most of what I ate gave me so much pain. I was in so much pain at the time because of the cancer. So the only thing I could eat, and I discovered that throughout several days, was freshly pressed vegetable juice, beef, 100% grass-fed, grass-finished beef, and mostly ribeyes, which for me was the perfect balance of not too much protein and enough fat, and good fats, avocado, coconut oil, grass-fed butter, French heavy cream. That's all I could eat. So for 3.5 months, all I ate was vegetable juice and ribeye steak. The next day, vegetable juice and ribeye steak. And the day after that, vegetable juice and ribeye steak. That's what I ate. And again, one of your videos really helped me, because when I discovered that glutamine could also feed cancer in certain conditions, but that green tea could help with that, what I did was break my fast every day with the fresh vegetable juice. Then about an hour later, had my steak and my avocado. And about 5 to 10 minutes after that, a big glass of green tea to help control the glutamine from the steak. And that was my meal every single day for almost 3 months.
Got it. Okay, good. So that helps out. And then as far as quantity of what you ate, did you just pretty much eat enough so you can be filled? Because your stomach, when fasting, it kind of shrinks, and so you're not able to probably eat the quantities that you normally eat.
Well, I can eat. Let me
Okay.
tell you that I can eat. So before cancer, if I have pizza, for example, I wouldn't have one pizza. I wouldn't have 2 pizzas. I have 4 pizzas. I can eat. Of course, I couldn't eat the same thing and not in the same quantity when I was sick, but at least a 1 pound ribeye was my basic quantity.
Just once a day.
Yeah, once a day. A big glass of fresh seasonal vegetables, a big one pound ribeye cooked in butter or olive oil with pink Himalayan salt or sea salt, and my green tea. That's basically what I ate every day.
And what type of vegetables did you juice?
Anything that was organic and in season. So during the summer, I juiced a lot of spinach and cabbage and stuff like that. During the winter, when we went more into the spring, I juiced cucumbers and celery. So I just took whatever the farmer's market was offering me at that particular time. But as many veggies as possible, greens, colored, to have as much micronutrients as I could. That was my goal, to really push the micronutrition into my body and to help my body fight that cancer.
There are so many things, so many anti-cancer. Every time you look up the benefit of any vegetable, even beets and carrots and everything, they will always say it's an antioxidant. It has It's anti-inflammatory, anti-cancer properties. And I think also you had cruciferous vegetables too, right?
Oh yes, oh yes. A lot of broccolis, and to have even more effect, I juiced a lot of broccoli sprouts. So I put the sprouts in my juice, in the juicer, I mean, and just extract the nutrient from the broccoli sprouts. And yeah, that was mainly all my juices. All my juices, in addition to the seasonal vegetable, I always added broccoli sprouts and turmeric. Those are the two things that were here in my juice year round, all the time.
That's powerful, powerful anti-cancer. Like now, going now to present time, what do you normally eat now?
So I try to stay on a 1 meal a day intermittent fasting protocol, but not always. If I work out a lot or just if I'm hungry, I'll have 2 meals a day in a 6-hour window. So I still spend a lot of the day and night, of course, fasting. And as far as food, now I can have pretty much any kind of proteins, eggs, no problem, chicken, fish, beef, of course. So any kind of animal protein is fine. I'm still having a hard time with whole veggies because the fibers still irritate my intestines. So I still juice my veggies. The main difference is the sugar. So I eat a little bit of sugar in the form of fruits, and once in a while in the form of raw honey. And it is something that I didn't allow myself at all when I was sick. I am not convinced 100% that the fructose, the sugar of the fruits, in its original food matrix, which is the whole fruit, is really bad for cancer. I don't know. But because I didn't know, I preferred not have any sugar at all when I was sick. But now that I'm not sick anymore and I have zero trace of cancers and all the cancer and inflammatory markers are good, I have fruits on my non-workout days. So on my workout days, I do more of the proteins and fat. And on my non-workout days, I do less fat and a little bit of fruits. Okay. Of course, organic and seasonal. So that's the main difference with what I did before. So my diet is basically the same as far as micronutrients, a little bit more variety with the proteins and a little bit of fruits 3 times a week.
Got it. Do you currently take any probiotics or fermented type foods?
Yes, I use sauerkraut a lot. A little bit of sauerkraut almost every day.
That's so key for your gut and the since it was in your digestive system, so might as well support that. And that you couldn't get a better food than sauerkraut.
Yeah, sauerkraut is really one of the things that not only I like, so it's not an effort for me to eat it, and it's super powerful as far as pro and prebiotics. So I'm using it quite often.
Fantastic. Now I want to bring up another really important point. So if anyone checked out, check back in right now because this part is really important. Before you got cancer, your diet wasn't that bad. In fact, you were doing intermittent fasting. You were doing keto, the healthy version, for a period of time. And then I asked you a question, what was your stress level? And your stress was off the roof. And so when you deal with cancer, there are things, smoking can cause cancer, chemicals can cause cancer, chronic anything can cause cancer, bad foods and things like that. But people don't really put attention on the stress factor too. So the stress factor can activate your genetics to turn things in a bad way, can turn things on that should be turned off. So you went through stress, and I think because of the whole pandemic thing, you couldn't have you had different dojos around the country. They had to close down, right?
Yes, absolutely. And when there's a lot of different stresses, and that's what people don't understand. I didn't have what most people would call a very stressful life. I mean, I didn't battle with my family. I didn't battle at work. I didn't have that kind of stress. You're right when you said that my lifestyle was pretty good. I tried to eat organic for the past, I don't know, 20, 25 years. I was on keto for quite a long time. What else? Always active, doing a lot of meditation, a lot of Tai Chi, my martial arts, boxing, parkour, CrossFit. So I was an active person, doing intermittent fasting for 20 years. So people ask me, so how come you did all that and got cancer, and you did all that and got cured? And I think, I'm not sure, but I think it's the compounding of everything. It's putting everything together all the time. And as far as stress, yes, the pandemic and the world situation stops me from doing a big part of my professional activity. I usually travel the world to go and teach in all my dojos around the world, my martial arts schools. I couldn't do that. It was very complicated as far as finance. And of course, that was a big stressor. And that's when the cancer appeared. I also had a genetic predisposition because apparently from what the doctor told me, it was one of the few real genetic cancer. So my food and my lifestyle was not so much the guilty parties there, but my genetic background was the sleeping cause, as I call it, but the stress was the trigger. There's no doubt, yeah. And I tried my best when I was trying to heal myself to compound everything that I knew about fasting and diet and stuff like that, plus all my new research, with even less stress in my life. You know, more breathing, more walking out in nature, more meditation and stuff like that. And I think it's a combination of all those things. We said last time on the last video that cancer is multifactorial, but healing cancer is also multifactorial. And I did a lot of things. If you add to everything that we talked about, the ice cold bath, the breathing, the walk in nature, playing with my dog, playing with my wife, having fun, laughing, watching at nothing but comedies, all those things, I believe, participated to my healing.
You know, you brought up a good point. Like you have to step up your discipline to you know, ice cold baths. I mean, for example, fasting for 21 days. That's all requires a lot of discipline. And you know, I think out of necessity, you understanding what needs to be done because now you did the research. Out of necessity, you pulled it out of yourself and you're able to kind of stick to it because you're probably willing to do whatever it took to survive, basically.
Yes, absolutely. And some people say, yeah, but it's probably because of your martial art training, you have more disciplines than others. It might be true, but look at Guy, our friend Guy, who was 70 at the time of his cancer, no discipline whatsoever, never practiced any martial arts, overweight, cancer stage 4, diabetes, everything you could have, he had it. And he did the same thing as me. He did the fasting, he did the keto, and he cured himself. So, like you said, out of necessity, when your life is on the line, I think it's much, much easier than when you just randomly decide to do a fast or randomly decide to as a prevention to take care of your health. And don't get me wrong, prevention is critical and it's much better, much easier than finding a cancer. But it's hard. It's hard to fast when you don't have a very, very high motivation, such as, hey, you're gonna die.
You know, people that are watching this video right now are either potentially have cancer, they're interested in preventing cancer, they might have friends or family that have cancer. But if cancer is not on your radar because you don't have any awareness of it, oh, it'll never happen to me, even though it's the second killer of the world, you probably won't be interested in cancer until you have either someone close to you or yourself, you know, you start developing cancer, and then you become very interested in it. So I wasn't into health at all until I hit probably my late 20s, because I personally was affected negatively with my health. Other people, they seem to get by and they don't have any problems until later in life, and then they make this shift and change. So my whole thing is you can acquire a tremendous amount of survival knowledge by learning from other people's stories, other people's successful actions, other people's strategies. And I don't know if when you're watching this, you realize how vital Fred is giving us this really key, these keys, these strategies, because it can come in handy if you ever get cancer, or if you have someone going through cancer. This is like superior information that you should use and apply and think with. And because there's nothing worse than getting cancer and not having any of this data. Could you imagine like getting cancer, not having all these insights, and you just following mainstream, which I don't know if you'd be alive by now.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're so lucky to live in the times we're living, because imagine my situation without the internet.
Oh, right.
What would I have done? I mean, nothing.
Right.
So, yeah.
That's right. So again, it comes down to being able to somehow, with your awareness, pull out the right information that makes sense to you, because there's so much confusion out there. And unfortunately, the first 5 to 10 pages of Google has what everyone's doing. And I think the thing that helped me mostly is I'm always skeptical of what everyone else is doing or everyone thinks is true. It's usually the opposite, especially when you get into this thing. Well, everyone knows. Yeah, well, who's everyone and where did that come from? So I'm suspect, and I tend to do everything the opposite, and it seems to be very successful. It's very successful.
I remember, I think it was one of your videos when you say, if you have, I don't remember what it was. I think it was about diabetes. If you have diabetes, go on the website of the American Diabetes Association and do the complete opposite, and you have a better chance. I apologize if it's someone else, I don't remember, but I thought that was brilliant. And that's basically what I did. It doesn't mean that I completely rejected Western medicine or that I have a grudge against it. I just didn't think it was the answer for me. But as we discussed last time, I did 3 sessions of chemo because of the pain, and it really helped me. So I'm thankful to those doctors and nurse who are helping with the symptoms. And it's critical when you suffer so much that you're not even sure that you want to live. And that's where I was at some point. And a doctor tells you, hey, take my chemo or take my pill and you're going to feel better in 3 weeks. It's a miracle. And I really appreciate it. And I thank my doctor for that. But as far as curing me without any long-term side effect, for me, Western medicine was not the answer. And I choose to look at the biology and the science instead of the medicine. But it doesn't mean it's the same truth for anyone. Everybody has to make his research and put his or her trust into what feels right for that person.
When you deal with cancer, there's a lot of conflicting information. So you have a lot of so-called facts that are opposing each other. You can't have 2 facts opposing each other. One of them has to be false. And so you unfortunately going to have to study both viewpoints back and forth to really see which one is true and which one's false. But when you deal with cancer, there's a lot of money going on. There's a lot of corruption. There's a lot of false information, manipulation of research. So there's a really good book, I'm going to put it down below, of someone really highly credible, a scientist who talked about all the manipulation that they do in cancer research. And I think if you're really interested, you should take a look at that book, because you need to know the truth, and that way you can not be susceptible to doing the wrong thing.
Yes. One of the things that I did when I was doing my research, and it was my main philosophy, it's not always true, but that was my main line to select informations, is when you have two conflicted informations about the exact same thing, first, trust the one that doesn't make money. Like fasting. Fasting doesn't make anyone any money. So study that first. It doesn't mean it's the truth. Keep studying all possibilities. But my first attention would be on those research and from researchers that didn't make money out of it. That was my first main idea.
Yeah, unfortunately, a lot of those researchers, they get paid. They're funded by industry and governments and things like that. So, I mean, who's going to pay a researcher to do research on something that doesn't make money? It's hard to. There's so many things like that's why you're not going to find a lot of research in apple cider vinegar, for example, because it's just not a product that people buy. So anyway, Fred, this has been an incredible knowledge talk or dialogue that we had, and I think people are going to really use this data to survive better. And I'll put some links if you haven't not seen the other videos that we've done related to this topic, so you can have all the information. So thank you very much, Fred. I appreciate it.
Thank you. My pleasure. Thank you very much.
Last few slides. Yeah, look at this one. By Jason Fung, The Cancer Code. He is the best-selling author of the Diabetes Code and the Obesity Code. This is one of the book here, very revolutionary way of understanding cancer. The last few slides. Just now, this is the one, The Cancer Code. What causes cancer? This book will be a good book for those who want to read more about what causes cancer, because this is a very revolutionary new understanding of cancer. Okay, then the other slides, I think one more. Next slide. This is, be careful of processed food. This is very, very risky, processed and preserved food. So you can go into the internet for more of it. One more slide. The next one. Next slide. Cancer being cured, that was the video just now. The last one. Thank you. Goodbye. Yeah. Okay, before I just say a few more words, just to round up the whole thing here. Talking about cancer, it is only through experience that I can learn so much. Conceptually, I may know a lot about it. People with cancer, now I go to a hospital, people with cancer, this. But now I myself have gone through it. It's really very different. Because existentially, my life is threatened. So I see life very differently. So looking again, you have the conventional therapy and you have the alternative one. Just as the other, I'm not against conventional therapy. They have its own benefit, and also the alternative therapy. What is important is I do my own research. I make my own decision. Ultimately, whatever is it, like for me, there's no one magic bullet. No one cure-all a magic bullet, but a combination of all of them together. So this is what I learned. All of them working together. No one magic bullet. So thank you very much for your presence here. And so someone just passed me a book here. This is a guide for patients. So you have cancer, what now? And this book is by this is Society for Cancer Advocacy and Awareness Kuching, SCAN. So this is printed in Kuching here. So this is a book. And I think if you really seriously want to do your research, there's so many available. I've also bought into Conquering Cancer and so forth. But the easiest one to go to Can Survive is a Malaysian one. Beautiful, plenty of video clips and so forth. This is one of the best way to do your own research on cancer. So remember, whatever is it, for me, I have to make my own decision. This is what it matters most. Thank you very much. Thank you. Have a good day. Come, let us have a closing prayer here. As usual, have a moment of silence. In the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit, amen. Loving Father, we thank you for this session here, which I believe have opened the eyes of so many people. For those who are suffering from cancer or survive cancer, and also for caregivers, as well as those potential candidates for cancer. So we pray that whatever has been shared here, through my own experience in the video and the question and answer, may truly be a source of inspiration for those people who are seeking, searching on how best really to handle cancer in a way that may truly help them recover fully from cancer. So as we go back, we ask for special blessings, blessings on all of us here, in the name of Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Thank you once again. Bye-bye.